In other stories, in preparation for the second phase of the television digital switchover, otherwise known as a DSO, in the country, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has been engaging with critical players in the Nigerian broadcast sector. The Minister and the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Professor Armstrong Idakaba, gave an update on the process with an assurance that the second phase of the switch will commence tomorrow with the rollout in Lagos. Well, for more on the DSO project, the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Professor Idachaba, joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio.
Thank you so much, Adeswa. Thank you so much, Ekene. And I thank you for getting Idachaba right.
Thank you.
You know, I was actually going to commend you for taking time to pronounce all the indigenous names correctly.
Thank you so much.
Quite instructive.
Thank you very much. So this has been a long time coming, switching over from the analog to digital. But thankfully, the train is moving.
Yeah.
So for our viewers who are watching and do not know what DSO is, what is DSO and why should we switch? Why is it important to switch as a subscriber? And how is this different from the pay TV that we already have? Will it kick it off?
Okay, first things first, we are DSO. The acronym basically is about digital switch over. Mm-hmm. So the question will be, what is switching and why is it going over? So the three keywords, digital. Of course, digital is technology, is an improvement in technology. That's not just particular to broadcasting, but to many other facets of society. In aviation, in marketing, in businesses, everybody is digitizing. The application of digital technology to broadcasting is what we refer to the digitization of broadcasting. Now, digitization is necessitated by the restrictions, some of the shortcomings of analog broadcasting. Of course, what are those challenges of analog broadcasting? They are limited in terms of clarity of picture and sound. It's also limited in terms of the potential for other levels of profitability or what you can accrue as benefits that are much more largely enhanced by digital technology. So with digitization of broadcasting, what you see as characteristic benefits are one, that there's opportunity for the viewer to have access to more diversified content. It kind of democratizes the viewing experience of the viewer. You are now able to, unlike in analog when you are restricted to one or two channels, you now have a potpourri of channels and they reflect various genres, sports, music, the kind. So, and this is already existing, or has been existing for decades. It's just that it's restrained or restricted to the higher income earning group. In Nigeria, for instance, for over 2 decades, we've been enjoying DSTV. Some of us have been enjoying StarTimes. Others have been enjoying GoTV. Now, those are digital broadcast platforms, and the experience you have on those pay TV digital platforms is what we want to transfer. Government is consciously and deliberately transferring to the lower rung of society. Okay. So we are saying it's time to take digital quality broadcast to the ordinary Nigerian. How do you do it? You do it in a way that the ordinary Nigerian can enjoy all the benefits without necessarily paying subscription. So a major marker, a major difference between pay TV, as you alluded, and what we are doing is that there will be no subscription for free TV.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's good news, apparently, all around.
Fantastic.
Because you're getting broader content as well as better quality.
Fantastic.
But the people you refer to as the lower rung, some would say as concerns them that the horse has bolted insofar as over half of the population already consume content digitally on what they call their phone. You know, they go online. So what has changed for them? What will change for them?
Well, there are statistics, I think, to show that well over about 150-something millions are assumed to have access to telephone services, as you're saying. But we also know that statistically, a large chunk of those figures are actually those with 2-3 handsets. In actual sense, is a very high number of Nigerians, perhaps a majority of them, still do not have access to the internet, especially those in the rural areas. And also don't forget that even internet access and consumption in Nigeria, even up till now, is still tariff dependent. One way or the other, you have to pay. And I don't think that every Nigerian has that possibility, the capacity to enjoy TV, through the internet. That really is not happening. So we believe the first and the best way is to roll out terrestrially, because it goes through the ground and it goes to a wide range of people at the same time.
So it sounds like a win for the viewers, but is there a win here for broadcasters, broadcast outfits, television stations, and content creators, content producers? And let me also ask you, because I know currently the DSO is in 5 states,
yes,
with the pilots beginning in Jos Plateau State years back. So what has been the assessment of the DSO in those states so far? What's the story like?
Now, it's key you ask what the benefits will be for the broadcaster. And just beyond the broadcaster, I think, like Kenneth said, has just realized that it's a win-win for almost every sector of society. For the broadcaster, yes, and even for the budding broadcaster, there's an opportunity to create content, right? Where you used to have 3, 4 channels, now you're going to have upwards of 30, 50, 60 channels. And what that means is that creatives have to fill those channels. So you are not going to have script writers, you're going to have producers, you're going to have people in the makeup, you are going to have people who are also going to be engaged in the marketing of this content. Also, you are going to have technicians, engineers, people who are, you call like installers. So there's a whole level of opportunity that's going to open up with the revolution of digital broadcasting. And then it also increased marketing, because you are much more able, or advertising, you are much more able to gauge in scientific terms. You're able to pinpoint and quantify viewer engagement, audience rating, programming rating. And that way the advertiser knows exactly which station is rating high and which program is the more watched and where they can invest their money. So the opportunities are big in terms of employment creation, in terms of viewer experience, in terms of expansions within the business circle. So it's actually win-win everywhere.
And in those 5 states? In
the 5 states where we are, the example is thrilling. I particularly remember Jos. We had the pilot scheme in Jos, and just overnight when we switched on, as we're going to do in Lagos tomorrow, the signals went across the city of Jos, even to the fringes, the local neighborhoods. And there's this particular family I saw some little kilometer away from Kuru. We're living in actually a mud house, and we had given them a set-top box, and they were plugged on. And I saw from outside that unbelievable viewing experience of crisp, clear digital signal in a remote village house. And that's the picture we want to see across the country. The ordinary people in the remote inner recesses of Nigeria having access to digital television content.
Okay, so we've looked at the consumer and we've looked at the broadcasters. We can turn the searchlight on the regulators yourselves. What will be the role of NBC in this new digital age? Some might liken it to being in a classroom with more students.
Yeah.
And so will you have a review of the NBC Act, which some say was instituted during the military era? Will the focus now be broader now, rather than just regulating and controlling? Will we now be looking to maybe encourage more of content that is reflective of what the consumer wants?
Well, and I thank you for raising this, because it's not often that the people, the analysts really think about the regulator. It's also a challenging time for the regulator, because there's going to be an intrusion of more diversified content. We currently grapple, like in Lagos, you have 13 local TV channels that are operating on the terrestrial. Now my monitoring team will have to sit up and begin to see how they can catch and monitor from the beginning 30, 40, 50 channels. So that's quite challenging. But we also know that technology also is an enabler. With digitization, we are also able to pinpoint, record around the clock whatever content is going on. And we are much more able to identify where the breaches are likely to occur. But basically, with regards to content, regulation remains the same. I mean, the fact that you are opening up the space for more channels doesn't mean that you are going to create avenues for unethical broadcast content. So the provisions regarding programming, decency, fairness, authenticity, credibility remain the same.
Well, very quickly before we let you go, you said this is a win for everybody and almost free for the subscribers.
Absolutely.
But you also mentioned set-top boxes. So how do they get the set-top boxes? Are they readily available? And is Lagos ready to switch on tomorrow?
Yes, as we speak, we have already done our own dummy in-house test on our signal. Lagos is ready to go. The boxes are available. Perhaps what is unique about the box proposition in Nigeria is that the boxes are actually produced and manufactured by indigenous Nigerian companies. We licensed 13 of them as a way of also transferring technology and creating a technical leap, in terms of the manufacturing industry for the electronic industry. We hope that from the set-top boxes, these companies will also go to do digital TV and do other ancillary electrical components that are also related to the TV industry.
Thank you, sir. So we're told we're out of time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for bringing us some enlightenment on what's to come.
And I thank you for your time and support too.
Thank you.
All right.